Welcome to the Pioneer Village at Shingle Creek. Early settlers to the area were known as Florida Crackers. The village has some of the best preserved examples of cracker architecture in Florida. The Lanier family home shows off some of the most common features of cracker architecture, namely front porches, large overhanging eaves, and above-grade floors that kept the interior relatively cool and dry in central Florida's harsh climate. Family life in the Lanier home, like most pioneer homes, revolved around the kitchen. Living a very frugal lifestyle, the Lanier family grew and hunted for most of their food. The outbuildings include a barn for the storage of tools and feed, a chicken coop to provide eggs and poultry, and a wash house. The Cadman family immigrated from Yorkshire, England in 1888. Settling in Florida on land made available by Hamilton Diston's drainage projects, the Cadmans built a small house. Over the years, the Cadmans added to the original structure to make it better for both their family and for the neighboring families they loved to entertain. The home was in the Cadman family for nearly a century. As the family became more successful, they built additional structures. Eventually needing more room, the Cadman homestead grew with the addition of a set of bachelor's quarters to house the family's 3 sons. With its temperate climate, Florida provided the perfect growing environment for a variety of citrus fruits. The packing house shows how things were done in the early days of the Florida citrus industry. The orange sorter and other machinery were all human-powered. The Cadman family came up with the innovative process of wrapping the fruit in paper coated with beeswax and linseed oil. The Tyson homestead consisted of a single-room house that at one time held the couple and their 11 children. The pioneers constructed water towers and cisterns to store water for human and animal use. Sugarcane was grown in small patches, and at harvest time, neighbors would come together to grind the sugarcane. The pulp from the grinder would be cooked down to produce syrup, sugar, and molasses. The Seminole settlement part of the Pioneer Village complex recreates the living quarters of the indigenous people who settled this area hundreds of years before Europeans arrived. The Seminole people lived in extended family groups, and their living quarters reflected this arrangement. The Seminole houses were called chickees and were constructed with open sides to allow for airflow and thick thatched roofs to provide shelter from Florida's rain. Cowmen of the late 19th and early 20th century lived a hard life, spending up to 12 hours a day in the saddle, bronzed by the harsh Florida sun, wiry thin from their sparse diets and calloused from their handling of ropes and reins. The Florida cowmen helped usher in an era of agricultural expansion that put Florida on the nation's food map. Written, narrated, and edited by Phillip Carroll. Sound effects and music from West Star Music.